I believe that Chanigan has let me know that we are live here on the Final Fantasy Randomizer Twitch page. And have we got a show for you today? Zen0bian has four... They both have four thieves, oh god. So, if you are catching this VOD later, or happen to stumble in here through bizarre and mysterious means, welcome to Weekend at Zen0's, Zen0bian's Mystery Seed Weekend event. A mini tournament for folks who want to, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Suffer but not know what they're going to be experiencing. Essentially, both of these runners here, Poppadux and Zen0bian, have a seed where they don't know the flags. Just don't. Someone else has created the flags, has obfuscated what they are, and the files have been distributed in a completely legal way to enable both of these runners to face off in a race where they need to go. Yeah, they have to figure out what they have, where they need to go, what their objectives are, what their resource availability is, and basically everything else. So this is essentially a test of how well do you know these flags? Because if you don't, you're doomed. Because yeah, as far as I'm aware, these can be pretty much anything. And a little bit of everything. Yeah, that's kind of the beginning and the end of that statement. But at the moment, we are waiting for the runners to finish readying up. A little bit of behind-the-scenes tomfoolery had to go. There's not a whole lot I can really say before this race gets going, because all I know is there are 4 lights, and there are also 4 thieves. I don't know if this was forced or not. I came in after that point. I'm sure that Chanigan can fill me in, since he could see them before the stream went live. But they may have just decided to start with 4 thieves because, I don't know. If you've watched enough Final Fantasy I Randomizer, you know that everyone in this community is a masochist. Alright, Chanigan confirming in chat, the thieves were in fact forced, so... whoever made this flag set, yeah. Yeah. They did this. Anyway, the gate has been lifted, and we are about 5 seconds off from the race getting started, and probably about, I don't know, 20 seconds off from actually getting to see anything. But they are off, and never mind. Low delay. Alright. So right off the bat, Canaria Castle is where it's supposed to be. We have a bunch of... whoever did this at least started them off with a bunch of consumables. And tavern mode, and... Would you like to hire a thief? It doesn't have to be a thief. Alright, so... Looks like Vanilla Armor is the name of the game. Everything's a casting item today. And it looks like we have cheap Ice 3s. I'm not even sure what weapon that is. Oh, it must be one of the, thief-equipable swords. Gamba Magus in chat making it clear, they're suggesting that this is Oops All Thieves. Is this your doing, Ganba, or is this just a guess? But having cheap access to Ice 3 as a casting is going to make the early game tolerable. Like, even if you're up against early game undead, Ice 3 is still going to be effective. So, I didn't catch a glimpse. Fair enough, Ganba. But yeah. Ganba saying that they wouldn't have given them cheap access to Ice 3 if that were the case. Alright. Either way, we at least are off to a decent start in terms of overworld locations. It looks like we do not have entrance. Yeah, we do not have entrance shuffle on, or if we do, this is the most low probability. Aha! But we do have floor reversal as a possibility. So that is a flag that randomly decides left is right and right is left when it comes to dungeon floors. And Zen0bian walking into that door tells us that the locked doors on the left side of Temple of Fiends and the unlocked doors are on the right side. And for those of you playing along at home, yes, I did in fact just rock back and forth. No free bridge, but that's alright. It was in the first place. Alright, so I hope that y'all like seeing Ice 3 get cast a lot, because that is by far the most effective offense we are probably going to see for most of the seed. So, we are seeing a little bit of difference here in experience, though. Zen0bian, you'll notice, reset out as soon as he saw the locked door. Poppadux, on the other hand, opting to make a quick run through. Not the worst decision you can make, but still one of those things. Zen0bian definitely saving a little bit of time, even if Poppadux is picking up a little more experience. We do find an A-lit sword. That's... I mean, it's a thing. And anyway, Garland is about to get blasted in the face with ice until dead. Ooh! Chanigan pointing out in chat something I didn't catch. There aren't trap... Oh, no, wait. No, Chanigan. There are trap tiles. It's reversed. So the trap tiles are behind the locked doors on the left side. Alright, so... Okay, I'm beginning to think this is, in fact, Oops, All Thieves. Okay, whoever did this at least was nice enough to give us speedboats. But we are now in Provoca. Okay, so the really devious thing you could do is have, like, one other class besides Thief... Oh! Some of the weapon shops have been taken out. That's unkind. But we do at least have level 2 nuke. Assuming that there is a tail existent somewhere in this seed. They could have turned off tails. Well, yeah, there was at least... This might just be percentage weapon shop removal, Gamba Magus. Like, they at least left the weapon shop in Canaria untouched. So we'll have to see what's in Elfland before we start making a gauge on what all's missing. But we do have ship and canal, and a heal 3 stick. Okay, I feel like having NPCs everywhere is like having new party members attached to every NPC is just taunting the players at this point. But we do have a heal 3 stick, so that'll be handy no matter what, but... Alright, Zen0bian... Where are you walking, Zeno? Oh. He is presumably checking to see... Okay. Zen0bian realizing that there is the possibility of free Topher, and popping back in to check. Alright. So, it is... Gamba, it is looking like you might be right. We might not have anything aside from the Canarian weapon shop. And armor shop. And item shop. Alright. So, I mean, that ice, the set of Ice 3 swords is at least a thing. Alright. So Zen0bian looking like he's going to go ahead and dive Marsh Cave. We'll have to see where Poppadux goes. Getting the bad news that, yeah, I hope you, didn't need to do any shopping anywhere besides Canaria. But, we're gonna get a taste of what Marsh Cave has. We still don't know what our loose item situation's looking like. So, Classic Gamer, so far we have learned that, as far as we can tell, every possible character pickup is a thief. We have Speedboat. We do not have weapon, armor, or item shops outside of Canaria. We do have a canal already, so we have access to the wider world. We have Crystal here in Marsh Cave, but no indication if that is a loose crystal or if it is an incentive crystal in a random chest. Again, I believe that is exactly what that means. But I think that the vendor still exists even if you disable all items, or the caravan still exists even with item shops. Okay, Zen0bian also finds the herb here in Marsh Cave, so I'm deeply suspicious that this may actually be a, whatchamacallit, this may be loose items. Yeah, so if the vendor item isn't in Canaria, I think given the circumstances, the vendor item has to be at Caravan, or, like, whoever made this flag set left, like, 1 or 2 item shops on. That is an X-Fur sword. Okay, yeah, no, I think this might be Oops All Loose. Because that is a rod, as well, in Marsh Cave. Yeah, Zap, that's what it's looking like so far. Like, at bare minimum, we definitely have loose, because that's 3 key items. 4 key items here in Marsh Cave! So, Poppadux, meanwhile, did make the decision to go over to Crescent before dipping into Marsh, which, normally, not a bad idea. But, as we can see in this case, opting to dive... Of course we have Confused Old Men on. Why wouldn't we have Confused Old Men on? Now the really... Okay, there we go. So, only 200... Okay, actually, yeah, we've gotten a heal pot and and some money out of 2 key item NPCs so far. I think we have Oops All Loose. Now see, you can tell that whoever did this tried to temper their evil, because if it had been me, I would have turned off early sages. Because that's the actual evil you do with Confused Old Men. Is you make it so that you have to know... you have to be paying attention to what the old men say to know if you've talked to the one who you have to kill Lich in order to get the item from. Alright, so Poppadux is going to make this trip over to Elfland now, and is heading straight for Marsh, it looks like. So... I'm trying to think of what you do at this point. I think if I'm in Zen0bian's shoes, I do know that spike tiles are on, and that they are, in some way, shape, or form, shuffled. I think the fact that we saw the tigers makes me think that we've got B-sides, because I can't think of where that would be a forced encounter otherwise. Yeah, Chanigan saying that it is almost certainly B-side. All right, so Zen0bian, I feel like, is going to make a circuit of the Inner Sea again. Probably going to go ahead and go to Northwest Castle and check the spike tiles and the chests there. Chanigan pointing out that Zen0's skipped out on Marsh Locked. Yeah, I agree. Like, that's... From what we've seen so far, there is a non-zero number of loose items in this seed. Yeah, there's Oxyale. So, that is not something you necessarily want to walk out on. Honestly, I think I would have gone ahead and Ice 3'd the Mummy Cockatrice formation too. But this works just as well. Yeah, and I think part of the reason Zen0bian might not have gone back to check the key is just it's easy to forget that you have the key and can check key spots. Like, when you find the key in like somewhere like this. So yeah, so Zen0bian going ahead and picking up some more levels, getting his party to level 11. I couldn't tell just now. Okay, so there is overworld saving. I wasn't paying attention before. Remembering he doesn't have the canoe. I'm assuming he checked that already. So we'll see if Poppadux decides to make a trip down to the key-locked rooms, or if he's also going to, vacate Marsh. But either way, Zen0bian is gonna make these fetch quest turn-ins. Ah, a slab. And whoever did this was not so needlessly cruel as to scramble the NPCs. Alright. So... Yep, alright, so... This is an interesting decision on both of their parts. Like, it is only 3 chests. But you have Ice 3 for free on everyone. I don't know, I just feel like that's not something, Yeah, no, I agree with you, Ganba. Like, if I'm putting this flag set together, that's something I actually do consider doing, is, like, you know, incentivize a few locations that people generally don't like to go check. So, like, you put an incentive item in Ice Cave, you put an incentive item in Marsh Locked. That way they, ignore it. But Zen0bian gonna continue poking all these locked locations, except the easy one. Ah, a Zap shirt. And a ribbon +3. So, at the very least, even if whoever put these flags together didn't include a tail, which is still a possibility, until we actually see the tail, we don't know if there's a tail in this seed. We might just have to make do with a group of thieves. But Papa's still working his way out. Zen0bian is gonna go check these three locked chests here in Temple of Fiends. I don't hate it. And you never know what you're gonna find over here. There's a lot of good fights. Yeah, we at the very least, Adam Drupp, we don't have extended open progression where there is that unrunnable Nightmare Evil Man. Yeah. Yeah, we at least don't have the land path between Dwarves and Northwest Castle. We don't know yet if we have the river systems connected. And I can't remember if we saw a dock outside of the Ryukon Desert yet. Oh, nightmares have damage poison. That's that is certainly a thing that just happened. The one advantage of this party is you're probably getting away from anything you don't feel like fighting. Alright, so Zen0bian's going to open these boxes, seeing nothing of value is immediately going to reset out, because why would you go into that fight again? Oh yeah, no, if you have free access to AoE Ice, nightmares are fine. Like you said, Classic Gamer, unless they bust out the damage poison. Like, fortunately, that ribbon helps. Alright, so we got a Fire Tooth Sword out of the Elf Prince. That's not bad. Steal a bunch of money from the dwarves. And... is that a legendary shop down there? That looks like a legendary shop. And a Lock 2 stick. Let's see what the legendary shop has in stock. Womp womp. Okay, in all fairness, Gamba Magus, at first glimpse, that doesn't look very legendary until you remember that there's nowhere else in the world to buy softs, pures, or houses. Like, you gotta put these things in context. Poppadux doing a little bit of redistributing. Zen0bian. Gonna go ahead and get the slab translated for... ah! We have non-Ruin Melman today. That has an item shop! That only sells softs. Okay then. Moving on. Alright. So... at this stage... yeah, Zen0bian going ahead and checking Earth Cave. You have the rod, I don't hate this, since the only other option that's likely on the table right now is checking to see if Onrak has a dock. And possibly diving sea, which, to be fair, with Ice 3 in hand, Sea's not the worst. Oh, Ice 3 and the Fire 2 weapons, like, or weapon. you can deal with most of the threats in C with those tools in hand. I mean, you don't want to. No one would want to. But you can, and that's kind of the important thing. Ugh. Yeah, so whoever did this did decide to shuffle which town the vampire attacked, and Zen0bian has found the 3-eye grind. I didn't see where in Earth 1 this is, but these thieves are about to get swole. Oh, that's the Hall of Giants? Good googly moogly. Okay. So, for those of you who aren't aware, there are several encounters that are in the game's code, but were never actually put anywhere in the game. One of them is an encounter that features 1 to 3 eyes, that we lovingly refer to as the 3-eye grind. As you can see, when you have the B-side encounters activated, the end result is that you can find the 3-eye grind, which Zen0bian has. And if you did see not Dead Millman and were impressed by it as Adam Drupp is, you can, I believe, thank local artist Dark Moon for that. I believe he is the one who did the map design for not a Wasteland Millman. Of course, that means that either Onrak, Gaia, or Lefane is trashed today. Not that it matters too terribly much, because what were you going to do? Go to the tavern and hire a thief? Yeah, I don't know how far Zen0bian's going to take this. I can't imagine he's going to level all the way, because there is a chance you're going to find tails, but I also imagine he's going to level these thieves up to, like, level 20. Give them a healthy amount of health. Now, we'll see if Poppadux also checks these tiles. Yeah. I don't think I'd take it all the way to 50 Gon, but right now, for 2 reasons. 1, we don't know what kind of XP scaling is available. 2, you don't need that high a level to survive most of the problems you're likely to have. Through when you're getting ready for a Temple of Fiends. And 3, in the event that there is a tail in this seed, I wouldn't necessarily want to close myself off from the possibility of having a whatchamacallit, a ninja with a few shots of nuke. So Poppadux, in the meantime, found this Chimera tile and decided, you know what, this is good enough. Which is going to be disappointing at the end of this if he doesn't go check the Hall of Giants. Yeah, it's one of those things, though. With 4 thieves, you don't need to go ahead and max out to cover your butt. Chanigan letting me know that Poppadux only checked that first tile. I don't know if he knows that. And here's a helpful tip for everyone who doesn't know. There are actually 2 different tiles in the Hall of Giants. In the vanilla game, they both point to the same encounter. But they're not the same tile. So you actually, when you look at, so the Hall of Giants basically has a first layer that's one encounter, and then the actual hall is a second set of encounters. So Zen0bian checked both, and the ones that are behind the first set is the 3-eye grind. I can't remember what the first set was, but it wasn't exciting, so... Poppa... Yeah. Poppa may have missed out. Now see, jumping over what you're saying, Ganba, about how you're banking on not getting a tail because of how cruel the seed is. No, see, you're not being cruel enough in your reasoning. The cruel thing to do is to bait someone into thinking that they're not going to get a tail, and then have the tail somewhere. Because then they've made all these plans on the assumption that they're just going to have to take a bunch of thieves, and then you pull the rug out from under them, and it's like, oh, so you sold those katanas. Oops. It's like the end of The Mist, where you make someone think it's hopeless, and then you let them see that if they'd just been a little more patient, then they could have had hope. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm not allowed to design flag sets. Anyway, so that Heal 3 staff being put to use, and I'm glad to see it. It's good to use it. I don't know where we found that item, that armor that's cast in Quake, but yeah, that's handy. But yeah, so right now we are kind of just in a holding pattern, waiting to see where our next progression is. We did find a crown, I believe, in the unguarded chests here on Earth 2 that Poppadux is about to open. Normally these would be the northeast chests on Earth 2, but don't think I gotta explain why I'm not calling them that today. I think y'all can figure it out. I might have to play with some flags later today's spells app. Don't tempt me. Don't do that to the people. Alright, Chanigan helping let me know that the Quake shirt was in Earth 1, so... Oh! That's Blizzard. Well, either way, Vampire's dead, and... Poppadux barely avoids having a very bad thing happen. Alright. So... Zen0bian is going to continue ransacking everything. And, alright, so that's another ribbon and a Lit 3 axe. So, at this point, we've got... Or is that Lit 2 axe? Either way, at this point, we've got something to handle every kind of combination of elements. Between Zap, Quake, and the AoE Earth, Fire, and Lightning spell. The AoE Lightning, Fire, and Ice spells. So, we at least have options to deal with most of the major threats. The big thing at this point is, figuring out what boxes are progressions in. Oh hey, unrunnable manticores. That's a problem. Not a great big problem, but, you know, you don't necessarily want to see it. Okay. So we also have Power Word Blind, because, isn't that what everyone wants? Power Word Blind. Alright. So, Zen0bian is going to be the first one to confront a fiend. And, we at least have Vanilla Lich. No, Chan, again, I think that is... room is about where the trap tiles are, relative to, other rooms in Earth. It's... I think in that one, yeah, the trap tile's to the side, because the developers basically went, okay, they're used to the spike tile being in front of the chest. So we're going to put them on the side in this room, because that'll get them. And it gets me more often than not. Zen0bian, the people's champion, attempting to throw Lich into a chasm. Actually using the wait command, and gets it. So... this will be our first orb lit. And Poppadux, not too terribly far behind. Okay, that does confirm, I believe, that we are looking at a lit 2 axe. Also, hi, Dark Moon. Yes. Everything is thieves. The only saving grace is the fact that, they found Ice 3 swords off the bat. Replacing, like, probably sabers? Given how much they cost. So... both runners have basically just been Ice 2-ing everything in their path. It's been kind of hilarious. But yeah, just to recap what we know so far. Since I think Dark Moon... we have someone new, and I want to just kind of go over in my head what we're seeing. Vanilla entrances. Everything is thieves. Loose items in some capacity. B-side spike tiles, as Zen0bian grinding on eyes in the Hall of Giants makes perfectly clear. Vanilla fiends, or at least Lich is vanilla and in his normal location. Stat-wise, we haven't seen too terribly much out of the ordinary. On monsters. I don't think, anyway. No weapon, armor, or item shops outside of Canaria and legendary shops. And... speedboat. And that's pretty much everything. Almost all of the key items we found so far were in Marsh Cave. Like, I think it was, what? Rod, Herb, Crystal, and Key in Marsh. Oxiel was in the Northwest Castle Treasury. The Crown was on Earth 2. Sarah had the ship, Big A had the canal, and the bridge was in the normally the lower left-hand chest in Topher, or Temple of Fiends. Also, floor reversal is a thing in this flag set. So, and the slab was somewhere. I'm not gonna bother remembering where. Probably Canaria. No, it was in Elfland Treasury. So, thus far, it has been faster than you would expect from the phrase "for thieves," but not overly fast. Really, probably the biggest difference at this stage of affairs is Zen0bian found the 3-eye grind and Poppadux didn't. Which makes me think that, they both got the Quake kill on Lich. Which makes me think that Papa may not be aware that the Hall of Giants has 2 distinct spike tiles in it. I'm gonna have to... someone remind me to ask him about that after the race is done. So, Zen0bian, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and go talk to Astos. This may be our chance to find out if we have Astos Shuffle on today. I don't think there's a lot of places left for Astos to be hiding. I think it's basically just the robot and waterfall and here. Oh, and Fairy and LaFin. Okay, there's a few places that Astos could still be hiding, but we'll find out here in a moment if... Okay. So I think that does mean that... I don't know what that means. I can't remember if that means that Astos is Astos or what, but Zen0bian doesn't care. And is going to go do something else. I think at this point, though, we have to go... Like, there has to be docks at Onrak. Because I think we've exhausted all other options. Because, yeah, we don't have a canoe. And we've checked all the other dungeons. And unless that progression is located in the locked rooms in Marsh Cave. Those are the 3 chests we haven't checked yet. But yeah, Zen0bian, I just realized, made a very clever call here. He doesn't know if the sages had early lich or not. And by virtue of waiting to check Crescent, he basically just took that flag out of the equation. We know from Poppadux's side that it was in fact early sages, but... Alright, Poppadux putting 2 and 2 together, realizing he doesn't need to bother with the crown turn-in. Zen0bian heading down to... Do we just have a tail in our inventory, or is Zen0bian forgetting that this has to be Bahamut? Can Bahamut not require the tail? Is that a flag that I'm just forgetting exists? Well, we'll find out here in a moment. Oh! Okay, Zen0bian discovering that all of the dragon's treasures have been loaded into Bahamut's cave. So far we've got a ruby, and the lute, which is played by an oboe today. And there is another ribbon. So, Zen0bian is in a really good place equipment-wise, and if Poppadux remembers to check here, yeah, Zen0bian making sure that there's not something wonky going on that would make him able to fight Bahamut in Clash Change now. So... Alright, I do not believe that we have an on-rack dock, but that ruby does open up Titan's Trove, and... Oh, no, we do have an on-rack dock, okay. So, Poppadux may be thinking of, making a Seek play here. I don't hate it. I'm not sure where Zen0bian is. Oh, okay. The flag that turns this... Okay, so here's Ruined Onrak. Alright, so... Poppadux. Like I said before, I don't hate this play. Ice 3 is going to do work on almost everything in Sea Shrine. Yeah, Dark Moon, there was some praise in here earlier for Restored Melman, by the way. I figured you'd appreciate knowing that. And it does look really good. But yeah, like, the only thing I can think of in C that you can't at least use Ice 3 to do work on is literally the ghosts. But we have a fire. We have a Fire 2 sword for that, and also can just run unless they are unrunnable. Also, that is an opal bracelet +3, also known as. Okay, so one of these thieves is capable of taking a punch. All right. Poppadux finding the canoe here in Sea Shrine. So Zen0bian's going to find that in short order. Unless Sarda or these 4 chests have a chime. Ooh, that's a Quad X dagger. +5. That... I think you grab that, yeah. Oh, no, that's a gauntlet. Never mind. But either way, that is a piece of Quad X gear. But yeah. So, yeah, Zen0bian is gonna wind up here in short order unless he gets the chime. That is literally the only thing that can divert him from finding that canoe. Okay, we find more X-Fur weapons, and I think I saw another Quake shirt. I'm surprised Poppadux left that. Zen0bian is going to head back to Canaria to probably do some resupplying or some cleaning up. Yeah, so Poppadux breaking out the Fire 2 sword. Ghosts are still fairly hardy, but he's got a couple of shots of Fire 2 per turn. And he has a heal 3 stick, so he should be fine to clear out this encounter. Yeah, and that is still good eating. It's just dangerous eating. Okay, so Waters, that's just Ice 3. But yeah, Zen0 has put 2 and 2 together, realized the only place that treasure can be is going to be here in this place, Sea Shrine. Now, the real question is he going to go left or right side first? And we know that the top floor is flipped, so is he going to go... Yeah, alright, so he's heading over toward what he's going to discover is Kraken side. And he's actually going to opt to go over to Mermaid side, so... he'll be on even footing with Poppadux here in a couple of minutes in terms of finding that canoe. So, we are just kind of in an interesting position right now. Because this is about to blow up for... Ah, hey, there's the Adamant! I don't think Poppadux has checked TFC yet. Probably going to do that after checking TFC North. Alright. Yep, alright, so... both runners bound for even footing in terms of key items. Well, almost even footing. The big difference right now is Zen0bian has the loot. And Poppadux doesn't. Now, that doesn't mean that the loot is required. We could have a short Topher, in which case you wouldn't need the loot. And I believe that is still an option, is to have a Temple of Fiends that does not require key and loot. So... Actually, no, I guess if that were the case, then loot would already be in their inventory. Never mind. Yeah, so Poppadux does need to remember to check for the Cardia dock, or just go to Cardia after checking the, after finding the floater, assuming we have a floater. It is actually entirely possible that this is a no floater, no tail seed. Yeah, I think that there is a setup where you don't need the loot is not required, but I think that still inserts the loot into your inventory, Ganba. So, yeah, that's only going to matter if Papa doesn't think to check Cardia. And yeah, Chanigan, I'm apt to agree with you. I think this is probably a no floater seed given what we've seen so far, but you know, it's kind of a proving that we're not going to know for sure until one of these runners heads over to Lefane and looks for the dock there. But for now, we're going to go hit up the waterfall, which is going to be interesting because you know what one's wild in waterfall, right, everyone? That's right. Nightmares. With damage poison. He's fine. Okay, never mind. Less fine. I'm sorry, Chanigan. Not all of us are streaming the seed. There's a little bit of delay. Ooh, an iron golem grind tile. I don't think Poppadux has the tool set necessary to kill this iron golem. But honestly, I would have considered throwing that Quad X out. Because I don't believe golems are immune to death, but I might be mistaken on that one. Actually, I think I am now that I'm saying it out loud. Alright, so 3 rounds of, Alright, thank you, Zap. It took me a moment, but was like, wait, actually, I think they are. Ooh! That Fade Sword, though, just changed the equation for, Poppadux. Alright, so everyone in chat who isn't sure on immunities, just look down there. Everyone and their grandfather is talking about what's immune to death now. Jeez, you have a moment of hesitation, suddenly everyone's an expert. Yeah, okay, I think we're about to see Poppadux do a little bit of iron golem grinding. And yeah, Zap, yeah, that is a good point. We do have free X-Fur, but... Yeah, okay. I think Poppadux is about to get his grind in, so... Also, this golem has both squint and glare. So, that's a thing. Alright. So Poppadux satisfied with the things he's done? And Zen0bian also opting to follow what Poppadux did. Go ahead and leave the Sea Shrine for now. I don't dislike this line of thinking. I mean, I feel like they have the tools necessary to go ahead and clear C, but I can see why they're making the decision to go ahead and do Waterfall before Krakenside. It's a chance to get a little more experience under your belt, to make you more likely to survive whatever Krakenside throws at you, because you are going to have to fight your way past a few spike tiles, and you are going to have to deal with Kraken himself. Oh, but Zen0bian didn't see the robot cave right away. So he is going to be wandering around in here for a few minutes. Alright, so I don't think it's always up left, Atom Drop, but I do agree with Dark Moon. Up left seems to at least usually keep you from straying too far from the right way, the way that the ProcGen waterfall works. And for those of you who are watching this VOD later, that is an example of one of our flags, procedurally generated waterfall cave, which completely changes the layout of waterfall cave in accordance with various procedural generation algorithms. So, Zen0bian also going to take a few fights with this Iron Golem, or at least not going to shy away from it. But, alright, so at this point, what are we looking at? Poppadux is heading down Krakenside. I suspect Zen0bian is going to follow a similar track. Both runners presumably very happy to be carting around the Fade Sword that they found in Waterfall for this. And yep, here comes Zen0bian. So, right now, the key difference is Zen0bian has been over to Cardia and knows that it has a loot in hand. Poppadux has not made that check yet, but does have a fourth ribbon, so I think we also saw a second Quake shirt, so that just double confirms that we are on randomly generated treasure, and boy is it being generous today. So, Poppadux rocking all 4 ribbons. I think Zen0bian's found all 4 of the... No, I think Zen0bian has 4 ribbons. Poppadux only has 3. But again, when he goes to Cardia, he ain't gonna miss the ribbon in those chests. Unless he feels behind, finds the loot, and is just like, I gotta go. Yep. Alright, so we do have at least 4 ribbons available. And so far, no more progression items. I mean, at this point, we can finish the seed. Oh no, we need Chime and Cube still, never mind. Excuse me. Okay, 5 ribbons. So yeah, Poppadux will not be shot in the foot if he finds the loot and immediately, like, leaves. I've also seen a lot of flame shields. That actually should have been my tip-off. It didn't even register. But that is a second Opal +3, which in an Oops All Thieves, we may or may not actually have a tail seed you'll love to see. I mean, technically, I think that's also the best armor for a ninja anyway, so... No one's complaining about that. But in any case, Poppadux is going to be on Kraken's floor here in a minute. Zen0bian not too far behind. So, to the stage. Now, after both of these runners kill Kraken, this is where things are going to get interesting, because the canoe that they both have now, that opens up ordeals. It also opens up Volcano and Ice Cave. Volcano seems to be, I think, the obvious routing decision. You've got a fiend you gotta kill. It's dense in checks. And you have Ice Sword. You have 4 thieves who are casting Ice 3 infinitely. You're good. Chanigan pointing out that Poppadux did not go back in to equip his 4th ribbon, but either he's going to remember to do that now, or he's just not going to worry too terribly much about it. But yeah, so I feel like we're going to see both of these runners make a play on Volcano. The only divergence might be if one of them decides to make the proximity play over to Ordeals. Just so that they don't have to come back to this side of the world until after they've at least killed Carrie. But either way, neither one runner, I think, thinking to use that Lit 2 axe. Kraken is vulnerable to it, and I think that would be out-damaging Ice 3 right now. Or at the very least, it'd be on par with it. But either way, the Fade Sword is more than adequate to make up the difference. And we'll see who gets out of Kraken first. This kind of is going to come down to who gets the better rolls on these spells. And the answer is Zen0bian is the first one out of Kraken. Yeah, that 140 definitely is beating Lightning 3, but not Lightning 2, but I was saying that when Ice 3 was hitting in the 80s. And we've got Gurpeeds that are unrunnable. Alright. And we have a soft, so it sounds to me like the vendor item today was an item. Alright, so Zen0bian confirming he does not have the chime. Probably gonna go check and see if he has Lefane access via boat, if I'm any judge. And Poppadux doing the same thing. So yeah, this is a no floater seed. There's no other reason to have turned on, because I bet we also have the Gaia pass. Twinstrumental, don't be silly. We don't know what the flags are. This is a mystery race. Now, I can tell you so far, we're reasonably confident this is a no-tail, no-floater seed. You are forced to use Thieves. There are no armor, weapon, or item shops outside of Canaria and whatever legendary shops you might stumble across. As far as we can tell, it's oops all loose. And every weapon is a caster item. So, that's where things stand at the moment. So Zen0bian is going to go ahead and check out ordeals. Look at him. The dude in Lefane was just giving the Light Warriors his 2 cents. Alright, so Poppadux looks like... Alright, yeah, he is going to go... he never checked the caravan. Alright, so he's going to go check the caravan, and then we'll see what he does. I have a feeling, based on how similar he and Zen0's routing has been, is probably going to go check ordeals. In Classic, I mean, are you surprised that they're low on money in Lefane? Isolated location, limited purchasing opportunities from tourists. Like, you know, it's one of those things, there's one hotel and an item shop that's not even in city limits. That town does not have much in the way of inflow for money. I mean, most of the world is kind of having an inflow-outflow problem right now. There's like 3 guys with shops. Okay. So, Zen0bian... I don't think found anything here in ordeals, so this was kind of a bust. Poppadux going to check the adamant. And that's a silver bracelet, but I think he's still got someone rocking a copper bracelet, so he's going to go back for that. So, Poppadux may be thinking of making a play over to Volcano or Ice Cave, considering he came back up to the southern he came back down to the southern continent. And that sailing route, yeah, okay. Well, never mind. I think he's going to ordeals. Or not. I don't know where okay, Poppadux is heading to Volcano by way of this river system. So... at this point... yeah, at this point, the major difference here is Zen0bian thought to check Cardia, and Poppadux didn't. Which gave Zen0 the loot. And what I suspect we are going to see happen is these two are going to... is that Zen0 is going to pull ahead here if... like, basically, they're going to stay pretty close together until Zen0 finds the chime in the cube. At which point, he will pull ahead, because he will know that he has everything, but Poppadux will not. Which is unfortunate, because, like, Poppadux has run a very solid race. It's just, he needs that loot, and he didn't look where the loot is. May not even realize that it's a possibility until he has exhausted all others. Almost stops to pick up that 6th ribbon. Realizes, wait. Alright. So, yeah, we're kind of just in a holding pattern here. Both runners know that, well, alright. Zen0bian is aware that there has to at least be a chime somewhere in either the volcano or the ice cave. Poppadux is a little less well-informed on that front, but is almost certainly going to check ice cave after this anyway, so they'll both have their cubes soon enough. The real question is, where is the chime? Wait, I had that backwards. They'll find their chime soon enough. The real question is the cube also going to be in these two checks, or are they going to have to go over to Sky to get their cube to get up into the sky? And as a follow-up to that, are either one of them going to make the bold play to just take the chime and go? I doubt they will. But, well, okay, I take that back. I can see the scenario where you find chime in one of the last chests here in Volcano and go, you know what? There are more checks in the in the Mirage Tower, than there are in Ice Cave. I don't want to deal with Ice Cave. I still have a party of thieves that is mostly using ice magic. I am just going to go take my chances and go straight to Mirage and get that and hope the cube is there. Yeah, so it's one of those things. It's an interesting proposition. I'm curious to see if the cards fall right, if either runner makes that bet. So that's the thing I really feel bad about is, you know that I'm worried that these two are going to go into whatever their next seed is, and forget that they can use the fight command. Alright, so Zen0bian is going to come out of this floor in a slight lead. And fortunately figures out, before he takes too many steps through lava, that that's backwards. Classic Gamer asking the real questions here. Whether Warmech is vanilla, patrolling, or forced. Yeah, no, Twinstrumental. I definitely agree that it takes some getting used to realize I don't need this ribbon. I already have 4. Alright, so Zen0bian's already to Agama floor. And popping open chests, and Agama floor at least is vanilla. Ah, hey, there's our third opal bracelet, so at this stage of affairs, it's an interesting position at this stage. Because the big problem, I think, at this point is weapons. I didn't see what Zen0bian just found, but he obviously wants it. Ah, a stun sword. I don't hate it. So we're down to 2 chests to possibly find this chime before we have to go to Ice Cave. And if we have to go to Ice Cave, that's gonna favor Zen0bian, I feel like. Excuse me. Never mind. All right. So here's where things are going to get interesting. Because both of these runners are going to find that chime. Zen0bian already knows Ordeals has Bupkis. So he's got to choose Ice Cave or Mirage Tower. Poppadux has a little bit more of a calculus to make. Because he hasn't been to Ordeals yet. He could make the decision to just fade Ice Cave and head straight back to the northern continents and try his luck with Mirage and Ordeals. And I'm not sure which of them... Like, I'll freely admit, I'm not sure if either of these runners have the sort of tendencies that would make this predictable. It's going to come down to how behind do you feel, where you can safely say, I am willing to gamble that I don't have to go to Ice Cave this seed. Or alternatively, to say, I don't think my opponent's going to go to Ice Cave, so I'm going to go to Ice Cave and gamble on that being where the cube is. Now, for Poppadux's sake, I'm kind of hoping that he decides that the correct play is to go to Mirage. Because that's going to put him back in the vicinity of Cardia, and that might get him to think to check for the docks. But here's the moment of truth. Let's see where Zen0bian goes. Excuse me. Oh! Okay, we don't have a river system today. That's going to change the equation a little bit. Not a lot, but it depends on where you parked your boat. Like, Poppadux, I think, is a little more inclined to go to ice from where he's parked. No, actually, no, they both are parked on close enough. Ah, okay, Adam, I didn't catch that earlier, you're right. Poppadux, using that Confusion Sword on Carrie. Because you still have a party full of thieves, and Carrie can still be surprisingly violent. Alright, Carrie is confused. It is time to just beat her to death. Alright. So, Zen0bian parking at the docks instead of the river for Ice Cave. It's a decision. So, Zen0bian going for the Ice Cave play, basically saying, I don't want to take the chance that the cube is not in Mirage, because I know it can't be anywhere else other than Ice or Mirage. Poppadux through Carrie, lighting his third orb. Here's the moment of truth. If he goes to Ice Cave, I think that puts it very strongly in Zen0bian's favor. If he goes to Mirage, I think this still favors Zen0bian, but the extra checks Poppadux is going to make might not hurt as badly. Because that's the big problem at this point. If Poppadux doesn't check Cardia on his way to Mirage, he's going to open every box in Sky. And that might work out. That might give him some key items that he wants. Like, there might still be a tail in this seed. It might just be at the adamant spot. Well, yep, alright, so Poppadux going to ice. So, at this point, I'm going to say Zen0bian. Zen0bian has the advantage. Obviously, Topher is going to be a huge factor in this one because, oops, all thieves. But, he's going to pick up a good 3 to 4 minutes on Poppadux, just because as soon as he finds that cube, he's in go mode. At least from a key item perspective. Like, I don't know what their weapon situation is looking like because, I don't know what their weapons are. But it's one of those things, if Zen0bian keeps opening boxes in Sky after finding the cube, because he needs gear for his thieves, that's going to eat into whatever advantage he has over Poppadux by virtue of knowing he has the loot already. But yeah, so... Well, there's the TNT. So that is the other possibility, then, is the cube could be... I did forget about fetch quests, I'm going to be honest. So, cube could still be behind Narek. It could still be behind the ferry. Those are still on the table, and I completely forgot about that. So... Zen0bian's going to need to make another call here. Whether to... First of all, check the eye chest. Well, never mind. Zen0bian is gonna open these boxes. Okay. So that tells us a little bit about how Zen0bian feels about his equipment situation. Because he is an experienced enough runner. He knows he's got go mode in terms of key items with that cube in hand. So his equipment situation is not to his liking, it sounds like. Maybe he is hoping that there is, in fact, a tail somewhere? Or maybe he is hoping that there is, say, a Masa, or even just, like, the equivalence of the dragon or coral sword that rolled high, or the rune sword rolling high. But regardless, Zen0bian is going to be the first one out of Ice Cave with go mode in hand. So he is almost certainly going to be making a play straight to Sky. There is no reason to go turn in this TNT unless he is just hoping against hope that Narek is holding a Masa. Which, let's just face it, there is no reason to assume that the Masa even exists in this seed, from everything we've seen. Personally, based on what I've seen so far, I would personally be inclined to gamble, myself, on at least checking the adamant chest in Sky, before I start worrying about further looting. Because, let's just face it, there's a non-zero chance that someone incentivized that box and put the tail in, and incentivized the tail, knowing that, if, say, you only incentivized Chime and Tail, and you incentivized only Volcano and Sky, Sky, that the Chime would wind up in the Volcano, and the Tail would wind up in Sky. Yeah, Chanigan, I do think that we are almost certainly in an oops all thieves situation, but, like I said, this is a situation that, if you really wanted to be mean, you could pull a bait and switch like that. Put a couple of things in incentive locations, well, there's the bottle, and test to see if the runners think to just, you know, I'm gonna look anyway, because. So I think that this does at least confirm for us that Zen0bian is not happy with his equipment situation at the moment. He has 4 ribbons, he has, I believe, 3 opal bracelets, but, what he doesn't have is a reliable way to bring chaos down. Poppadux is going to go ahead and see what's behind the TNT. Zap, I know that you're way, way, way better at this game than me, but I think you may be overestimating how comfortable some people are with X-Fur and Ice 3 strats on Chaos. Because, like, Chaos still has a ludicrous amount of M defense. Yeah, like, I almost would be more comfortable throwing Quakes at Chaos than trying to whittle him down via Ice 3. But that is a ruse sword, so that does change the calculus a little bit. I also didn't see what Narek turned over. Did anyone catch that? Okay, thank you, Adam. So it was a pure pot. Alright, yeah, and Lord Goober confirms. Alright, so that mute +4, whatever it is, at least seems to be putting a little bit of extra oomph on the Thieves' attacks. And it looks like Poppadux is not taking it. I think you're right, Chanigan. I think that has to be the Maza. Based on having 77 attack, which is not good for Poppadux, since I think he just left it behind. Yeah, Zen0bian is heading straight up at this point. Yeah, that between that ruse sword and that mute and that probably Maza, he's good now. Like he's got access to lock and lock 2, or he's got access to lock 2 via sticks. So he should be able to bully his way through Chaos. Really, the biggest issue at this point is if this isn't a short Topher, he's gonna have to work his way through a lot of healing. And hey, there's Warmech. Runnable, but Warmech. Alright. Fire 3 comes out, everyone's wearing a ribbon. Yep, that sprite confirms that is Maza. And that Maza did not hit very hard. Which suggests that we may be dealing with some kinda nasty boss scaling. But hey, at least we now know that Lit 3 and Quad X are out of the pool. Alright. So here's Tiamat. Yeah, I think Papa also got the ball. There's no way he would have missed it. Because, again, he's stuck in a position where he's got to open every last one of these boxes. Because he still needs the loot, and doesn't know it's not here. And he definitely checked floor 1 because he faded the mute sword. Loot was in the Cardia Islands. In this flag set, the crafter put on both the Cardia dock and the flag that moves all of the Cardia treasures to Bahamut's room. And so, the loot was there. So, Poppadux has not found the loot yet because he hasn't checked Cardia. But with that, Zen0bian has lit his 4th orb. He has a key and a loot. And a really, really, really fast boat. And also no idea where he is on the north coast of the southern continent. But he's figured it out. He's probably going to use the river by Matoya and just hoof it to Temple of Fiends from there. Yep. So. I forgot that we never crossed the bridge! Beautiful. Alright. So, Zen0bian hitting Temple of Fiends Revisited at about the 129 mark, and it looks like we do have long tow for today. And Zen0bian immediately leaving Temple of Fiends, presumably to go restock. Zen0bian, where are you going? I'm actually not sure what he's doing right now. That's gotta be it, Zap. Because, yeah, like... Yeah. Yeah, grab that gold +4. Not everyone in your party is wearing opal bracelets. Yeah, I don't think either runner is quite prepared to throw in the towel, Ganba. However, I suspect whoever finishes first, unless the other runner is on Chaos, we're probably going to see I'm not doing Topher with this party. With this party forfeit. Alright, Poppadux has finished checking Spider Floor. Is going to go check Sky 3. And then we'll be going to go kill Tiamat. Poppadux already at level 33. I don't know where Zen0bian's sitting. Also 33, okay. Well then. I mean, that's going to change super quickly because Zen0bian's probably about to grind his party to level 40. Or possibly just go all the way to 50 because it's 4 thieves. But... Okay, that's a treasure room in space with an iron glove, 600 gold, and an antidote. I don't really have a point there, I just wanted to point that out. I feel like the only reason not to take it all the way to 50 is you do have a lot of tools at your disposal. Yeah, Ganba, it is. I believe that Poppadux has just verified that there is no tail in this seed by checking every box here in Sky. So you would have made the correct call if you had just decided at the outset, I'm just going to grind eyes until I'm level 50 and then play the rest of the video game. But yeah, the only reason I can see not going to 50 is if you want to try and squeeze in, assuming your opponent will go to 50 and doesn't need to. Yeah, I think, yeah, Adam, I think at this point, we are looking at a dud for Bottle just because, yeah, you'd have to have had the tail loose and it roll into an incentive location, because we've already determined that all of the key item turn-ins, like, all of the fetch quest locations have not turned up key items, and there's no way to separate the fairy out from the others, so you either would have needed to only incentivize a couple of things and gone from there, or you would have needed to... what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Or you would have needed to just had things land very luckily. So I doubt we're going to see Poppadux go check for tail behind fairy before he goes and tries to grind out these last few levels. But the real problem right now is hopefully he... Well, alright, he's almost certainly going to go to Ordeals. So it's not going to be until after he's done with Ordeals that he starts worrying about anything else. Meanwhile, Zen0bian still murdering eyeballs. And Zen0bian has cracked level 44. Yeah, he's going to go all the way. And it's looking like we did have some sort of orb-based XP gains. Ah, Poppadux opting to go ahead and do the bottle turn-in just in case. Yep. This is the first time I think either runner actually checked for it, so you didn't miss it. Because I think when Papa, or when either Papa or Zen0 went to Lefane earlier, I can't remember which one, they stuck to the south shore, so they didn't scroll up far enough to see the path, as far as I could see. Womp womp. Alright, so at this point, Poppadux is almost certainly going to go do Ordeals, because he hasn't yet. And Zen0bian is not too far from finishing his grind to 50, so this is probably going to be over relatively quickly. Or it's going to take forever because even a group of level 53 thieves is not going to be enough to deal with whatever this Topher has in store. Oh! Okay, I don't know if Poppadux intended to check for the dock or just happened to spot it while trying to navigate to Ordeals. But either way, that is incredibly fortunate. That is going to put him in go mode. And we'll see what happens from here. Alright, Zen0bian has finished his grind, so he is going to almost certainly be our first runner properly into Temple of Fiends Revisited. He did poke his nose in earlier and discovered death. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Poppadux not having to do ordeals has clawed him back a little bit of time. So really it's going to come down to how comfortable is Poppadux taking a group of level 37, or probably by the time he finishes this hallway, coming back up level 39 thieves into Temple of Fiends Revisited. Gets his ruby. Dad obviously got his loot while I was looking away. Alright. So Poppadux has everything he needs to enter Temple of Fiends. Zen0bian remembering that there are heals in this legendary shop. And Zen0bian is bound for the Temple of Fiends. Right now he's got about 250 HP a pop over Poppadux's party. And obviously a good bit of hit percent and MDef. So Zen0bian has a very, very significant advantage. In addition, Poppadux never worked out that Mute +4 weapon was in fact the Masa. And that's going to hurt him. Because Zen0bian did. But it is Temple of Fiends, and these are still thieves. Anything can happen. Okay. Poppadux cracks level 40, getting out of Bahamut's lair. So he may go ahead and dive into Temple of Fiends right behind Zen0bian. Like, yeah, level 41, not ideal, but if you're already feeling behind because you just found the loot, it may be worth saying. Yeah, I have to agree. I think the levels he's got, if he opts to just make the Topher play now, which it looks like that's exactly what he's doing, all it takes is if Zen0bian hits a roadblock that Poppadux doesn't for whatever reason, you know, even if it's just something as simple as, you know, Zen0bian sees a nuclear that, or a nuclear that Poppadux only sees half of, that'd be enough to potentially turn things around. Just on healing time. But we're still going to see Poppadux getting in a few minutes behind Zen0bian. But entering Topher while your opponent is on Earth floor, that is a lead for Zen0bian, but it is not in any way, shape, or form insurmountable. Like I said, you need a little bit of luck. Alright, thank you, ADF. A little bit of luck getting into... a little bit of luck on Poppadux's part, a little bit of bad luck on Zen0bian's part, and they could be sliding into chaos together. So. Ah, hey, there's nuclear. 2 fades, swing of the Masa, and Lich 2 is down. Zen0bian is definitely down a little bit of health, but nothing that he necessarily needs to worry about yet. Really, I think that's kind of the big factor right now, is the sum total of Zen0bian's healing is a stack of heal potions and that heal 3 stick. And the thing is using that heal 3 stick is in direct contention with either running away or doing damage. Now, personally, what I would probably do is have all 3 of my other thieves run away and just have the one with the heal stick throw out heals every time, because occasionally I'm going to get that turn order, and that's going to save me the menuing. And if I don't get that turn order, I'm not losing time on the action, except for the, like, 2 button presses to pull out the stick. That being said, Zen0bian going after carry with the fades, the shots of lock 2. Poppadux already on earth floor. So this is definitely not a runaway on either side. So Zen0bian through carry 2 onto water floor, continuing to just do what thieves do best and run like hell. Poppadux definitely benefiting from, or Zen0bian definitely benefiting from lots of runnable encounters here. Yeah. Chat making an excellent point there. We do appear to be in different parts of the encounter table for both of these runners. So that has not helped Poppadux on Earth, but it could come into play on fire or water in avoiding some of these encounters that slowed Zen0bian down. So Kraken 2 showing not too terribly much thus far. Aside from a lot of spells that are not very effective because there were like 7 ribbons in this seed. Is looking pretty hefty though. Putting a lot of punishment out there. Not enough to actually stop Zen0bian from taking him down, but Zen0bian's definitely going to probably want to start throwing some of those heal 3s out. With that 4th thief that he just threw the staff on. Just to kind of keep the heal pot supply up. Alright, so Fades coming out, Lock 2 coming out, Ruse going up. Not a lot of damage out of Tiamat 2. But that's a nuke. Not that terrible. His thieves can eat 2 nukes to the faces and still be healthy. You'd probably need something like a nuke into a tornado to probably really impress Fear. And Lit 2 may come as a shock to some folks, not the skill tornado. Meanwhile, Poppadux has broken through to carry 2, leaning more heavily on that heal stick, and also relying on double fades. Was that another nuke on Tia 2's side? I think that was another nuke on Tia 2's side. Or maybe that was nuclear. I was looking away and I only have one eye. But Zen0bian does get through Tia 2 and is on a chaos floor that does have encounters. Because why should you be allowed to breathe easy? Have you paid attention to this seed? Alright, so Zen0bian is up to chaos. Yes, classic gamer. I am an A-side trap tile. Blarg. Alright. So Zen0bian is going to burn through most of his heals and is having to continuously fight his muscle memory with auto sort on. But he's hit the rhythm he wants. Alright. So Zen0bian barely has enough heals to patch his party up and is into chaos. So Ruse is going to go up. Lock 2 is almost certainly going up. Yep. Chaos, though, not super accurate from the looks of things. That is definitely a good sign, but hits for 200. So Zen0bian is still going to go ahead and put another stack of Ruse up. Just go ahead and make his primary melee effective, and just keep stacking those lock 2s. Chat calling for the Exfer to come out. I think with a Masa in hand, in the hands of a thief, we are very unlikely to see anything other than fade and swinging, and that was a swing for 89 damage. So we might need a few crits in order to make this work out. There we go, that's 8 for 440, so just need a little bit of critical damage. Shoutouts to Vorpal fans. And he's been doing about 200 to 300 with those fades every turn, so he's probably got this chaos close to 2,000 damage already. And Tia aside, the way that these fiends have been rolling on health, I can't imagine this chaos is particularly hefty. He also doesn't seem to do anything but attack. Yeah, I think that this is Zen0bian's, and yeah, there is the victory. So get those GGs in chat for Zen0bian, as Poppadux is coming up on Tia 2. So, let me see if Zen0bian is going to be joining us. Well, we'll see if Zen0bian just hops on in. He should be able to just clamber into the booth when he feels like it. In the meantime, Poppadux having to go a little bit slower because, as we pointed out, he does not have the luxury of a Masa. And as a result, he is having to rely a lot on Ruse strats and throwing out Ice 3s and Fades. But Fade is pulling its weight pretty well. Ah, there's that nuke. So he does also have the Heal 3 stick, so he is going to start patching that damage right back up. And we know there's enough space between the two nukes in Tia's rotation to give Poppadux time to patch the party. He does need to stop trying to ruse these thieves and go back to fading. Yeah. Alright, so Zen0 should be along anytime now, but in the meantime, so yeah, heals going out continuously. Tia continuing to mostly chip away with these AoEs between nukes. And from what we saw on Zen0's side, this Tiamat does have a decent amount of health, so this is going to be a bit of a back and forth struggle, but I think Poppadux has enough breathing room between nukes to be able to pile on the damage and keep this party afloat. Also, hi Zen0. GG.
Hello. Thanks, that was That was fun and weird, and I'm gonna have some choice words for somebody after his race is done. So that was Fizzle's seed.
All right. Everyone was speculating that it was Bert's doing, actually. But
There's a lot of quality troll in there. Like, it felt like 80% of the maps were backwards. But in the end, it felt like it was just like Ice 3, the movie, the game.
I mean, it pretty much was. So the big difference between the two of you, at the end of the day, you figured out that the Mute +4 was the Masa. Poppadux did not.
That's why I was carrying around all those different swords all over the place, because I was like, well... And I tried to equip, like, every single one as I picked it up, because I was like, well, any of these could be the Masa. And eventually, I found it. And you'll notice that at that point, I stopped opening boxes and just went. I was expecting that there would, like, after that, there would be a short Toph, because, of course, it should be a short Toph after all that, right? But no, it wasn't, which is why as soon as I entered Toph, I said, nah, and went to go get level 50.
Yeah, so Poppadux never found the 3-eye grind. He only checked the first tile in Hall of Giants. But he did an excellent job of maintaining a walking grind, so his party, I believe, is hovering right now in the mid-40s.
I was gonna say, because the XP scaling was plus 100% per orb, from what I could tell, then just like the Bridge of Destiny or walking to Bahamut's Horde and back could get you a ton of levels.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think he was like level 34 when he got to Bahamut's Cave. He left at level 41 from Bahamut's Cave.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Other things that he did different, he didn't go to Ordeals. And... yeah, actually, that's about the only difference between you two. He didn't check Ordeals. Otherwise, you two did a lot of the same things. Up to and including not checking Keylocked Marsh.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm still wondering where like the tail and the floater are. They're probably in Keylocked Marsh.
No, they don't. They probably don't exist.
True. I was wondering.
Those are flags.
Yeah, I was wondering. Did he delete the tail? He might have deleted the tail. That little Samba. Yeah. He could have done that.
Yeah, Poppadux checked everything and... oh, that is the other big difference. You checked Cardia early. Poppadux didn't check it until last. Hence the heavy level gain. So he opened every box in Sky. We did not see the tail there. Literally, the tail would have to be in those 3 boxes in Marsh, because we looked everywhere else.
Yeah, and it can't be in Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go back to Marsh Cave real quick and tell us what's in those 3 boxes, like, I think at this point that's literally the only boxes we did not see between the two of you.
I'm kind of curious. Hang on a minute.
Yeah,
let's just go back.
Yeah, meanwhile, Poppadux is making his way through this chaos. We know from your fight that, yeah, there he is. Chaos is dead, so little Poppadux hopefully in here momentarily while you go to look at that. But yeah, it's one of those things, like, that Chaos fight was entirely doable with a group of thieves simply because it didn't do anything.
I feel like all of the fiends were edited in Hackster to be like baby mode, from what I could tell. Like, they were hitting very low damage, all of their spells were baby, except for the Tiamat double nuke.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it was just a situation where all of the bad stuff was buried deep enough, and I would remind you that Warmech did not take kindly to you trying to hit it.
Yeah, that 2 hits for 2 damage made me think, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this.
Yeah. Right, let's see if we be joining us. But yeah, so my question actually, while you're checking this and while we're waiting to see if Pop will come on in, how did you make sure that you... Well, I guess actually you also don't know what any of these are. You just had people send you files with the flags.
Correct. Yep, I just got files directly. Except for from Gregory, because he was drunk when he made it.
So you just made sure that you didn't do Gregory's seed then.
Oh, he still hid the flags, but he just didn't send me a ROM directly like I asked everyone to.
All right. If someone could, hey, Chanigan, could you drag Poppadux up? Or someone, anyone? There we go. Hey, Poppadux.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty well. All right. So, there we go. You, I'm sure you can tell by the finishing times, you and Zen0bian were very close the entire race.
We were.
Basically, the 3 big points of divergence. First, Zen0bian checked cardio way earlier than you did.
Okay.
And so already knew where the loot was well in advance of getting to Sky. So he didn't do extra looting. Additionally, he did ordeals and you were able to skip that. So that's where some of that time kind of came together.
Right.
Okay, so I saw a wall weapon, 2 gold, and I missed what was in that first box, Zeno.
Just more gold. So yeah, there's no floater and no tail. Thanks, Fizzle.
Yeah. Between the two of you, we saw every chest in the game. And every
Nice.
NPC turn in. But yeah. The other major differences. Zen0bian figured out that mute +4 was actually the Masa.
Okay.
So, he was able to pick up...
He was ripping through Topher while I was using fade strats.
Yeah. And I mean, even then, you were 2 minutes behind him getting into Topher, and I think you lost 2 minutes between the entrance and Kraken, and obviously another, like... actually it looks like another 2 minutes between Kraken and Chaos, and killing Chaos. So... Yeah, so it's one of those things, he was able to have a bit of an easier time, because the third major difference...
I took way too many fights at the end, I know that.
Well, he stopped and ground, because... So, Poppadux, I don't know if this has come up before for you. You are aware that there are 2 spike tiles in the Hall of Giants, right?
Yes.
You didn't check the second spike tile.
Did I check either of them? I don't even remember checking the first one.
You checked the front one. It had gray worms, I think. The second spike tile was the 3-eye grind. So that Zeno was able to just grind on those basically for all of his levels. That being said, the fact that you were able to basically pick up most of your levels through a walking grind worked out very well for you.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like the biggest difference makers were that he didn't full clear Sky because he already had the loot by the time he got there, and he didn't have to rely on Fade because he figured out which sword was the Masa.
Yeah, I tried equipping every weapon in the game as I picked it up, just to try and find the one thing that the thief could actually equip, and that would turn out to be the Matsman.
Yeah. I didn't even check. I barely checked any weapons at all.
Yeah.
I bought the Ice +3s at the beginning, and that's what stayed equipped the entire game.
But they were short swords.
I know. But they were Ice 3. They did work.
That is a question I have for both of you. How badly do you think this is going to affect your muscle memory for the next time you race anything?
It felt really weird.
Like how...
A lot of the floors you would see me just get turned around and be like, wait, where's the door? I'm lost.
I'm talking about how every battle was just you menuing to item 4 times.
That's true, yeah. Do
you even remember that there's a fight command anymore?
Every once in a while. There's also a
the
whole
first
lot of
20 minutes,
menuing to
I kept
run.
going to magic to cast.
Also, Zeno, what were you saying, Papa?
I said for the first 20 minutes, I was going to magic to cast instead of item.
Yeah, Zeno, I guess the other question is, are part of the sharp, pointy words you're going to have for Fizzle going to revolve around what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Auto sort.
Nah, I don't mind it, but I
saw you check the Oxyale quite a few times in Topher.
Oh, that was just my fingers being dead at that point from trying to menu as fast as I can.
All right.
That was just me pressing buttons wrong. I also menued back out to the status screen a couple times in the middle of that heel pot fiesta.
Yeah.
I had a big old brain dumb moment when I knew that open progression wasn't on because I saw that the mountain between Temple of Fiends and Dwarf, still existed, and yet I still tried to sail up the river from volcano to ice and got real confused for a minute. Like, wait a minute, why can't I go to ice?
I did the same thing.
You both did it, and
there should be water here.
I just straight up missed that there wasn't a road from Dwarf Cave. Like, I think I just was looking at the wrong screen when both of you made that check. So I just never saw it until someone in chat pointed it out, like, after you two both checked the river system. So
I wanted to go back, as soon as I got the key, I wanted to go check, TOF locked and Dwarf Cave locked. So I went up to the dock by Dwarf Cave, and I was going to walk over to TOF, and then I ran into a wall.
Beautiful. Yeah, I did enjoy right at the beginning of the seed when both of you ran smack dab into a locked door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, that was interesting to see, because, Zen0 just reset out of it, and Poppadux, you, just ran across Temple of Fiends, and I think that actually helped you out a little bit early on, because you had a little more experience under your belt than Zen0 when y'all inevitably had to walk into Marsh. Also, Papa, the reason we had to send Zen0bian back to Marsh Cave is those were literally the only 3 chests that neither of you checked. You both got the key in Marsh Cave and were like, "Yep, I'm good. There's nothing I can do with this here."
Didn't even think to check.
Straight out.
Neither did I.
Yeah, we wanted to know if the floater or the tail were anywhere in here, so after I finished, I went back to look.
Yeah, see, and if you go back and watch the VOD, I even commented on it. If Fizzle were feeling really mean, he could have incentivized Keylocked Marsh and just put something there. But yeah. So, I'm trying to think of other things. This was a really entertaining seed to watch, because, there was never a moment where it felt like it dragged, simply because of, the early weapon shop. I mean, that being said, I don't know why I'm calling it the early weapon shop. It was the only weapon shop.
Yeah, I kept checking every single pub. I'm like, there's going to be a non-thief somewhere, right? Surely.
I was thinking the same thing, and after the 3rd one, I stopped.
Yeah, I flat out said, if you really wanted to be mean, you'd make it thief in one other class and count on the RNG to make it so that they don't see the non-thief for the first 3 towns and just stop checking the pub. I mean, as it turned out, Fizzle just went the more direct route of everything's a thief forever. But
yeah, I would not have been surprised to find one later, because people could vet these seeds all they wanted.
Okay, then yeah, if I had been in Fizzle's shoes, I 100% would have pulled crap like that. Just set your expectations. What I definitely would have done is incentivize Volcano, the carry floor chest, and incentivize the adamant chest, and then sort it so that the chime is in one, and then the floater is in the adamant chest. Make those the only 2 incentive items and the only 2 incentive locations, so that the game forces the floater into that one chest.
I don't know if it was incentivized, but there was a key item in the carry chest.
Yeah, there was.
That's what got me thinking along those lines, is the way that the randomizer works. You could do something like this, where it's almost all loose, but if you can't see the flags, you force 2 key items into 2 key incentive locations, because then it just looks like it's all loose, but there's a thing you want in that last box. Do you have the nerve to go check it? But yeah, overall though, you two puzzled this seed out admirably well, and judging by the finish times, pretty much almost exactly the same.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah.
Lots of
So,
draft
if
was
I
gonna be.
understand correctly, go ahead, Papa.
I was just saying, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no, like I said, you made, like, Zen0bian had several advantages, and by and large, the advantages he had just came down to things he figured out that you didn't, or things he remembered to check that you didn't check until. Actually, that is a question I have. When you went to Cardia, was that because you realized there could have been a dock there, or were you just trying to navigate to ordeals and happened to realize the dock was there?
I was on my way to Ordeals, but I knew that would be a quicker check if the loot was there. I didn't even know if Dragon's Horde was on, but I knew it would
Yeah.
be quicker if it was. So I checked there first.
Yeah.
I was expecting for it to be something jerky, like, okay, Dragon's Horde is on, and the tail is in the Dragon's Horde, so you would
Yeah.
never go there unless you went there just to see.
Yeah. But, so yeah, it's one of those things like, yeah, what it came down to is Zen0bian just made a few checks in a slightly different order and, was a little more thorough in vetting the weapons. Also, according to Classic Gamer, apparently Fizzle Fizzle was punished for his sins in the other race. So,
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, he's going to be mad at me after that one, because that's my seed.
So you got him back already.
All right, so as I understand it, this is an 8-man, 8-racer tournament this weekend. So we're doing 4 2 versus 2 races today, right?
Or 1 versus 1 races today, yes.
Yes, that's what I meant to say. Exactly that.
Yeah, so
Anyway,
the winner of Fizzle versus Chad will face me tomorrow, and the 2 winners of the 6 p.m. races will face off tomorrow. Both of those races will be at 3 o'clock for the semifinals, and then the finals will be at 6 p.m. tomorrow.
right. And do we know what channels any of these future races are going to be on, or should people try to Discord to find out?
They should do that anyway, but they will be on either RPG Limit Break or this channel, the Final Fantasy Randomizer channel.
Well, yeah. In that case, it looks like we've got about 45 minutes before the next set of races kick off. So if folks who've been watching this want to go grab dinner or whatever, I think that we'll go ahead and get our final thoughts and kind of scoot on out of here so that we can start getting set up for the next race.
I don't really have much to add. I think we covered pretty much everything. I had a lot of fun. I love mystery seeds. I think everyone should try them out at least once or twice. Pick someone good to make it for you, though. Otherwise, you could be in for a bad time.
Papa, what about you?
Not much else to add. Just want to wish Zen0bian good luck. I had a lot of fun with this, and first ever mystery seed race. I did my first mystery seed last night for practice, and this was my first ever race. But I had a lot of fun with it.
Zeno, I have to say I am mildly disappointed that you didn't ask for a Wote special mystery seed.
I didn't really think of that. That's on me. I did have a really bad idea for someone to give a seed, and surprise, that's the seed that we actually had to reject because the playtesters could not finish it in less than 3 hours. So there was one seed that was so bad we had to kick it out of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like, I'm just saying, the next time you do this, I am capable of making seeds that are beatable in a reasonable time frame.
Yes, a lot of people have expressed interest in making seeds for these, when I announced the event. So yeah, the next time I hold one, which who knows, like if this is popular, it might be soon. It might be like right after co-op or something.
Yeah.
I'll put you at the top of the list of people that want to make seats for it.
Right. Well, now that I have abused my position in the commentary booth to get myself some special advantages, I think that's going to do it for us here. Thanks to Chanigan and ADF for running things behind the scenes while I just talk nonstop for like 2 hours. And I believe that we are going to have a little bit of an interregnum before we get to the other two quarterfinals. These are quarterfinal rounds this evening. So stay tuned. You can sit here and catch whatever race pops up here. You can pop over to RPG Limit Break to see the race there. Ideally, you'll watch both. But whatever you do, we hope to see y'all again. Thank you for watching, and we will catch all of you on the flip side. Don't forget to come join the Discord!